In the quiet suburbs of Atlanta, there lived a man named John. His life had once been full of promise. A dedicated father and husband, John had worked tirelessly for over a decade at a promising job in corporate sales. With his wife, Sarah, and their 2 kids, Ethan and Lily, they had built a comfortable life in a modest but beautiful home on a tree-lined street. The house had been their dream, a place filled with laughter, warmth, and love. But that dream was beginning to slip through John's fingers. The struggle. Months ago, John's company had downsized, and he was let go with only a small severance package. At first, he wasn't too worried. He had some savings, and Sarah was still working part-time as a nurse. But as the weeks went by, it became increasingly harder to keep up with bills. Medical expenses had piled up, the car needed unexpected repairs, and the mortgage payments were becoming overdue. John had applied for new jobs, but the market was tough. Every interview seemed to lead to another rejection, and the anxiety of not being able to provide for his family began to take its toll. The final notice. One fateful day, the doorbell rang. John opened the door to find a plain white envelope lying on the welcome mat. He knew what it was before he even picked it up. The notice was stamped in bold red letters. Final warning. Mortgage due immediately. His heart sank. John went inside and sat down at the kitchen table, staring at the paper in disbelief. His hands trembled as he reached for his phone, dialing the bank. After what felt like an eternity on hold, he was greeted by a robotic voice that informed him that the foreclosure process would begin in just a few days if he didn't make the payment. He was out of time. He had no more options left. A desperate plan. That night, John sat in the darkened living room, staring at the framed family photos on the walls. He thought about Sarah, about the kids, and the life they had built in this home. The thought of losing everything was unbearable. He went to bed that night, his mind racing with worry. He didn't know how he was going to break the news to Sarah. The stress was eating him alive, and he felt like a failure. The weight of responsibility was too much to carry alone. But just as he was about to fall asleep, he heard the sound of something gentle tapping at the front door. The mysterious package. At first, John thought it was a neighbor, maybe someone dropping off a package or an item that had been delivered to the wrong address. But when he got up to check, there was no one there. Instead, there was a large, unmarked cardboard box on the doorstep, just sitting there in the dark. John's heart raced as he picked up the box. It was surprisingly heavy, and there was no return address, nothing to indicate who had sent it or why. The only marking on the box was a small handwritten note attached to the top. It read, "Open me. Your life is about to change." He stared at the note for a moment, confused and slightly nervous. But desperation outweighed his hesitation, and he carefully cut the tape on the box and opened it. The surprise inside. Inside the box was a thick envelope, sealed with wax. John's hands shook as he tore it open. The contents were strange but intriguing. A stack of official-looking documents, some of which were stamped with what appeared to be the logo of a law firm. The top document caught his eye. Certificate of ownership with his name on it. His confusion deepened as he read further. The documents outlined a legal transfer of a large sum of money, along with an incredible real estate asset. A fully paid-off property in a desirable part of the city. But the strangest part was the letter that accompanied the documents. The letter. The letter, written in elegant, cursive handwriting, simply read, "Dear John, you don't know me, but I know you. I've been watching you and your family for quite some time. I've seen your hard work, your dedication to your loved ones, and the struggle you've faced in recent months. I know you don't have the resources to keep your home, and I know how it feels to be on the edge of losing everything. This is my gift to you, a fresh start. Consider it an anonymous act of kindness. Please use it wisely, and never forget that the universe sometimes sends help in the most unexpected forms. A friend. John was stunned. His eyes darted back to the stack of documents. The real estate property mentioned in the papers was located only a few miles away from where they lived. A spacious home, fully furnished, with all utilities paid for. The deed was in his name, and there were no strings attached. The shocking realization. John felt his breath catch in his chest. He couldn't believe what he was reading. How could this be real? Who would send him this kind of gift? The mystery behind the package gnawed at him, but there was no denying what was written in the papers. He had just received a life-changing opportunity. He carefully packed the documents back into the box and headed straight to the law office listed on the papers. The attorney who greeted him confirmed that the documents were legitimate. The house was indeed his. But even after getting the confirmation, John still couldn't shake the feeling that he was part of something much bigger than he could understand. A new beginning. With the new house secured, John was able to stabilize his family's situation. He paid off the mortgage on his current home, which allowed him to keep his family together under one roof. But the new property also opened up doors for John in ways he never imagined. He sold the house in the city at a great price and used the proceeds to pay off his debts, while also starting a new venture that he had always dreamed of, a small business in the neighborhood. His life had been turned around in an instant, thanks to a mysterious package that arrived just when he needed it most. Though he never learned who sent it, John could never forget the stranger's words. The universe sometimes sends help in the most unexpected forms. Now, as he sat with Sarah and the kids, enjoying the peace of a stable life once more, John couldn't help but wonder, was this a sign of something more? Or was it just an incredible stroke of luck? Whatever it was, it had changed his life forever. Want to hear more incredible stories like this? Don't forget to subscribe and be the first to know when new transformations happen.